what's going on, y'all? So, you see, championship belt, red shirt, Monday Night Raw review, obviously, right? This Monday Night Raw was way better than SmackDown was. SmackDown was slightly above average. This was way above average. It felt like everything, except for a few things, were basically pretty good. Like, I wouldn't even say it was almost great. Like, there's a lot more that I liked about this show than I didn't like. But to summarize that, they started off with a Drew McIntyre promo, and this was for a promo to open the show. This was a great promo because for Drew McIntyre's story throughout this whole night, it set the tone in the best way possible for Drew McIntyre. And here's what I mean. He came out and basically said it's been a long time since he done it, but he welcomed anybody to Monday Night Raw. And then he proceeds to say the place where everybody seems like they have gone crazy because liars, hypocrites, and even idiots could just leave. He said could just leave, come, go do something for a short period of time, come back, and all it could be is everything could be forgiven, or they all could, everything they did could be forgiven. And then the crowd would chant CM Punk, because obviously it sounded like he was talking, like it very clearly sounded like he was talking about CM Punk, because everything he just described was what CM Punk did. He was saying basically how CM Punk was a liar and a hypocrite, which you gotta admit CM Punk is kind of like a hypocrite, because how can you leave and go talk bad about the company and then come back to the company when you screw up in the other company? Like, that's kind of a hypocrite. But then again, the same argument could be made about Cody Rhodes. But yeah, he was like, I could be talking about anybody. But he said Seth Rollins took a shot at him, saying that, by giving Jay Uso an opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship, saying that if Jay was getting the opportunity tonight, he basically felt like he should have had the opportunity tonight because he beat Jay 2 weeks ago. And how did Jay get ahead of him in the line to get a shot at the title if he beat Jay? Which is actually kind of accurate, because how did he get in front of Drew McIntyre if he lost? He lost against Drew, won at War Games, and then he gets a championship match. So it's like, that's kind of weird, but okay. Conveniently enough, though, they did leave Drew McIntyre out of the poster they had, sold the poster for the 2024 Royal Rumble, and Drew McIntyre is not on there, and they used that as a storyline on the show, so that was a nice little touch. After running down everybody, something wild was going on, but after running down everybody, he said, was there somebody else that he was missing? This would bring out Sami Zayn right as he said the name. Sami Zayn would come out and tell Drew that if you got something to say to me, it seemed like you wanted to say something, so say it, to my face. And Drew McIntyre said he said he do. As he do have something to say, he said, as always, Drew McIntyre, going to tell the truth. He said, out of everybody that got screwed over with the bloodline, Sami Zayn was the only person that actually did deserve to get screwed over by the bloodline. And then he got a couple of boos, but he was like, no. Let me explain. I'm not saying, he tried to say, no, hold on. I'm not trying to say this to take a dig at him. I'm just speaking facts. So he said that the whole reason why he said it was me and you was in a feud. You ran from me, kept going to the bloodline, and then you joined the bloodline, and then he said, and then you betrayed the bloodline. He said, what did you think was going to happen? He said, I thought you was a smart guy. You deserve it. And then he turns to the crowd and said, "That's the truth." And I'm like, I'm like, you know what? He actually really did deserve it. Like I couldn't like dispute Drew McIntyre's argument. I'm like, yeah, if anybody deserved to be screwed over by the bloodline, it should have been Sami Zayn, because Sami Zayn kind of did deserve it. Like he didn't deserve it, but he did. Like if you had to choose out of all the people they screwed over, if you had to choose who deserved it, Sami Zayn would be like literally number one. And it was weird though how they had Sammy not really acknowledge that. He said he only thing he acknowledged said that, you know what, the one thing you were right about, that is the more that I hear you, the more I hear Drew McIntyre is true, we're not alike. And that he said that when he lost in front of his family and had his devastating loss and came up short, he kept going and stayed motivated. And the same thing, he said the same thing he did with Seth Rollins. He kept hungry. He said that hunger took him all the way to the main event of WrestleMania. And then he told Drew, "Are you making your family proud?" Because he mentioned that when he lost in front of his family and Roman Reigns, so against Roman Reigns, and said he's insinuating that Drew ain't making his family proud because he ain't doing the same thing like Sammy did. But Drew said he told only one of us gonna be walking out of here tonight. He said give me a damn ref and ring the bell. And that's a transition to the first match of the night, which is Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. This was a good match. I won't even say good. This was a great match. It was a great match because it had a lot of spots, great working over after Sami Zayn tweaked his leg, and Drew finally, getting rid of his empathy and taking advantage of it, using that to eventually beat Sami Zayn and win the match. And then he would get attacked backstage as Sami Zayn was about to get interviewed about the condition of his leg. Drew McIntyre would beat him up backstage, yelling at him, telling him that they're nothing alike, and that they're forcing it to him that they're nothing alike. Then he would stomp on Sami Zayn's leg that was like kind of like perched upwards on this little crate, and thus ending his. He said, "You brought this on yourself before doing it." Thus ending the night for Sami Zayn, and I think Jey Uso came out and making sure Sami was okay, and that he ended up telling Adam Pearce later on in the night that he wants Drew dealt with, but Adam Pearce assured him that Drew would be dealt with, but he needed to focus on the match, his World Heavyweight Championship match, which was revealed to be the main event of the night. Shayna Blazer was getting ready to get interviewed backstage. She got interviewed backstage about Nia Jax. Did Nia Jax interrupt? I can't remember if she did or not. I don't think she did. But Shayna said that she was going to ensure that Nia Jax remembered why she got put on herself. I think that was what, Barry Saxton, yeah. And then that was the next match, which is Nia Jax. Oh, that's what I got confused. Nia Jax interrupted Becky Lynch. That's what she did. Right before that match even started, Becky Lynch also got interviewed backstage, and that's who Nia Jax interrupted. And it was a good interruption because up until that point, I had forgot that Nia Jax and Becky never really did solve that problem when Nia Jax punched Becky Lynch and caused her to become the man Becky Lynch. Who she is now. It wasn't until right then I realized, I'm like, yeah, they never did, but that's basically what that promo was. He interrupted and said that once she's done with Shayna, her and Becky could settle their differences. And then that's what we got, Shayna versus Nia Jax, which was a good match. It was a very good match. It was a Nikki Cross sighting. I think that was when Shayna was interviewed. Nobody just knows that Nikki Cross was just sitting back there with the light glowing on her, looking all mysterious. But yeah, Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler was a good match. It was. I actually thought this was gonna be one of the weaker matches, but it turned out to be a surprisingly good match. It put Nia over without making Shayna look bad. Um, and it really gave her. It really drove home what they're trying to do with her being this monster heel. But Nia Jax would get the victory over Shayna Baszler with Becky Lynch coming out trying to confront Nia, but Nia will leave the ring, leaving Becky standing tall, which I'm guessing is going to happen next week. We then got what I couldn't believe. I'm like, when was the last time we had this type of match on Raw or SmackDown? Which is a 2 out of 3 falls match between DIY and Imperium. I'm like, it's been a while. I can't remember the last time Raw had a 2 out of 3 falls match. But this was a good 2 out of 3 falls match. I mean, really good. It had your suspense. Nobody won. It had to go to the sudden death third fall. The Imperium took the first fall, and DIY took the second fall, and then but throughout the whole match, they had great spots, great moves. They told the story of Imperium basically being on the same page of Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni, and they looked like they was on the same page, but eventually things would escalate, and DIY would also win that third fall, winning the 2 out of 3 falls match. I think Giovanni said that he would have to explain this to Gunther because it was his fault, and then we would see Gunther like later on in the backstage segment scolding Kaiser in the background of somebody else's interview. I can't remember who was getting interviewed. Tegan Knox and Natalya had a match next, which I thought would be like going up against Chelsea Green. So it was going up against Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, and I'm like, oh, okay, this ought to be. And this was a surprisingly fun match, and it actually with a surprising twist. I had Natalya and Tegan winning this match because they got a little feud going with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, who was at ringside at commentary. And this was a fun little match with Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, who I gotta admit the crowd was not really into, because it's hard to be into a team that you really don't. You can tell they're not trying to really push their efforts into. But for the most part, I will admit, I did get somewhat involved in the match, somewhat caring for the match towards the end, with Katana Chance and Kaden Carter being surprise victors. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe there was a surprise victors. I thought Tia and Nadi was winning, but nah, they put Katana Chance in them over. So here's hoping that they get future title shots. We got Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke Nakamura next, with Cody Rhodes basically talking about the Miz with the Great Muta, how he feared it as a kid and his fears were justified, and that he blamed himself for not paying attention to Shinsuke Nakamura's hints, and that he was the person that was next. And then Shinsuke Nakamura appeared on the Titantron to tell Cody why he's challenging him, why he's coming after him, and he said it was because they had the same paths. They paths to WrestleMania was identical, with Shinsuke Nakamura reminding not only Cody but us that he was a former Royal Rumble winner. He went to WrestleMania and came just this close to winning the championship from AJ Styles, only to lose and go into a downward spiral. And then he reminded that's what happened to Cody Rhodes. He won the Rumble, went to WrestleMania, came this close, and then lost and went into his own little spiral and trying to work his way back up to get him back to finish his story. But Shinsuke Nakamura confirmed that if he couldn't finish, he can't finish his story, then he was finish Cody Rhodes' story. And Cody Rhodes, though this time Shinsuke didn't appear after his little Titantron thing. Cody Rhodes announced that he wants to fight Shinsuke Nakamura, and that he doesn't respect or rate Shinsuke Nakamura, and that if he want him to, he must prove it. Great promo. We got JD Madonna and Dominic Mysterio of Judgment Day going up against the Creed brothers, and this was from a backstage promo where R-Truth once again invaded the Judgment Day headquarters, and that Damian Priest asked JD and Dominic to go take care of the Creed brothers and soften them up a little bit. This was a great tag team match. I'm not gonna lie, this was a great tag team match. I enjoyed it. The Creed brothers was definitely put over here. Our only gripe with this is that at one point we need to make Dominic and JD look a little bit more believable, that they could actually win matches instead of being the jobbers of Judgment Day. Because at this point, the only true people in Judgment Day you know that could win matches is Damian Priest and Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. JD and Dom can't win nothing at this point. But that didn't stop here with the Creed brothers getting a victory over Judgment Day with JD and Dominic telling Damian Priest that they need to take the Creed brothers very seriously, and they the real deal. And then we get the main event, which is Jey Uso versus Seth freaking Rollins. And this was a great main event. It made Jey Uso look so good as a main eventer and a future world champion. And it was hijacked for the minute with CM Punk chants, and the crowd that's like what the crowd was basically into. It was like, excuse me, they was only into the CM Punk chants. And then they eventually, once the match actually got going, they actually got into the match with more so for Jay winning. They was still in it. There was Seth Rollins chants and stuff, but they mostly wanted the Jey Uso to win, and actually got a little bruised when Seth Rollins won. But overall, it was a good main event. And Drew McIntyre would then Claymore Jey Uso, who was out on the ringside, and then Seth Rollins would try to help, but he would get beat up as well, and then he would put Jay through a table to end the show. This was a good Monday Night Raw, and I really enjoyed it. Aside from a few little hiccups here and there, a little one, I think the Caden Carter and I messed that all up. But the Caden Carter and Katana Chance match, where they had a little bit of miscues and sloppiness in there and there, but the matches overall, the promos overall was good. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. Big guys, just because this was a great Monday Night Raw. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought of Monday Night Raw. And if you enjoy my review, you know what to do. You hit this button. I'll find it right here for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed the video so much, you want to support the channel, you know what to do, guys. Hit those buttons. And as always, any one of these videos for more around amazing content, but don't go anywhere. You got that Grand Theft Auto 6 reaction and some more coming your way. Peace.